If there's one hard truth about mankind, it's that wealth isn't spread evenly. For as long as humans have used the money to exchange goods and services, there have been those who have managed to amass a sizable amount of legal cash, fairly or not. While the families of long-forgotten kingdoms and empires were wealthy, their wealth paled in comparison to the titans of the wealth of the 20th and 21st centuries. Elon Musk, the CEO of Tesla and the variety of other businesses, is worth more than $220 billion, making him the world's richest person. But keep in mind that Musk is new money, and the self-made tech mogul isn't from a family of billionaires. Likewise, fellow tech titan Jeff Bezos, whose wealth hoard is estimated to be worth over $160 billion. Instead, we will be considering the family wealth of the world's top 10 wealthiest families who collectively own more than $1.5 trillion. Before that, please do well to like and subscribe to this channel. Thank you. Starting at number 10, the Boehringer and von Baumbach families. $59.2 billion. Albert Boehringer, a humble druggist, founded a company that sold tartar and other dental adhesives in 1885. After more than 130 years, the Boehringer Ingelheim Group is Germany's second largest pharmaceutical firm and one of the world's top 20, employing over 50,000 people. Hubertus von Baumbach, Albert's great-grandson, is in charge of the enterprise, but nothing else is known about him and his family, who are known to be press-shy and live an extraordinarily private life. What is known is that the company made an outstanding $22.5 billion in 2019, and that in 2020, the von Baumbach and Boehringer family invested some of the money in research on a COVID-19 vaccine. Number 9, the Thomson family, $61.1 billion. As an upstart businessman, Roy Thomson followed in the footsteps of Hearst by purchasing the Timmins Daily Press in Ontario. He controlled nearly 24 newspapers by the 1950s, and he launched the Canadian Weekly Review to serve Canadians who had emigrated to the United Kingdom. Thomson relocated to Scotland, where he continued to acquire newspapers and media outlets until he died in 1976. By purchasing Reuters and becoming the Thomson Reuters megacorporation, the Thomson family has expanded their power even further. Roy's grandson David is the company's chairman now, as well as the chairman of Canada's Globe and Mail newspaper. In addition to hotels and financial services enterprises, the family owns several other businesses. Number 8, the Johnson family, $61.2 billion. The Johnson dynasty of Boston, not to be mistaken with the poorer S.C. Johnson family of Wisconsin, has ruled financial services juggernaut Fidelity Investments for 3 decades. Edward C. Johnson II created the corporation in 1946 in Boston, Massachusetts capital, and New England's financial center. Edward III replaced him, although in 2014 he stepped away from day-to-day operations, while Edward III retains his position as chairman of the board. His daughter Abigail takes over his father's role as CEO, with an expected $21 billion in revenue in 2020 alone. She's kept the company in the chips. According to Forbes, the Johnson hold 49% of the world's second-largest mutual fund. We cringe to think about the summer home for whoever owns the remaining 51%. Number 7, the Wertheimer family, $61.8 billion. It's okay if you've never heard of Pierre Wertheimer, but perhaps you've heard of Coco Chanel? During the period between the war years, Parisian designer Chanel was attempting to build a name for herself in the fashion industry, and it was Wertheimer who took a chance and invested in her company. Chanel died in 1971, but her name lives on because of the Wertheimer family's hard work and dedication to protecting their cash cow. Gerard and Elaine Wertheimer, Wertheimer's grandsons, are now in charge of Chanel, which made $12.3 billion in revenue in 2019. Number 6, the Ambani family, $93.7 billion. Oil is also called black gold for a reason. Just ask India's Ambani family, who have amassed a fortune of over $80 billion, all as a result of striking it rich by mining the earth's lifeblood. Dhirubhai Ambani began his career as a gas station attendant, but instead of accepting his fate, he established Reliance Commercial Corporation. Mukesh Ambani, one of Ambani's children, now runs the energy behemoth Reliance Industries. When he's not drafting up reports, the younger Ambani relaxes at his 400,000 square foot, 27-story palace, according to Business Insider. He's had to get lost in there. Number 5, the Al Saud family, $100 billion. Abdulaziz Al Saud founded the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia in 1932, and less than a century later, it's one of the world's wealthiest nations. Because of, you guessed it, oil. The royal family distributes the oil fortune among its members. Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, or MBS, is a 35-year-old Saudi prince with a personal fortune of over $1 billion. The Saudi royal family's enormous riches have naturally led to some extravagant spending, including gold and diamond automobiles, gold toilets, and even a chartered aircraft for falcons. Falcons, to be precise. Number 4. The Dumas Hermes family, $111.6 billion. Fashion and luxury is an enormous business, as we just discovered from the Wertheimers. But not even the Chanel empire can stack its mile-high tower of cash as high as the Dumas family, who own the ultra-chic fashion label Hermes. Thierry Hermes started in the 19th century by creating equine gear for France's nobles, and while the brand fared well, it might not have done so brilliantly if Hermes' descendant Jean-Louis Dumas hadn't brought Hermes to the world stage in the 1970s. The family is still actively involved in the management of the 200-year-old fashion house, which generated $8 billion in revenue in 2019. When the Dumas and Wertheimers run into each other at the caviar bar, there's certainly going to be some awkward banter. Number 3, the Koch family, $124.4 billion. Now we're getting down to business with some serious cash. All 3 of the world's wealthiest families are American, with the Kochs of Kansas being the hardest up of the bunch. David and Charles Koch carried their father's oil industry to new heights with the family business now generating more than $115 billion in sales per year. Julia Koch, David Koch's widow, inherited $53 billion from her late husband, making her one of the world's wealthiest women. The Koch brothers were never bashful about using their wealth to sway politicians, openly donating ungodly sums to promote deregulation and other causes that were close to their hearts, namely their drive to make more money. Number 2, the Mars family, $141.9 billion. The Mars family is a billionaire American family with a collective net worth of $141.9 billion. They own the confectionery company Mars Inc., which carries their name. They are one of the wealthiest families in the United States. Mars, the world's largest confectionery firm, has an annual revenue of roughly $27.5 billion. Milky Way, Twix, M&M's, Snickers, and Mars bars are all made by Mars Inc., which is named after the family whose great riches were earned on the backs of so much refined sugar. According to Forbes, 6 members of the Mars family from Virginia are among the world's 400 wealthiest people. With America's desire for candy unlikely to wane anytime soon, they will remain among the world's wealthiest families for some time. Number 1, the Walton family is the richest in the world with $238.2 billion. If you've ever bought a pair of socks at Walmart, you've contributed a small amount to the Walton family's vast riches. In the 1950s, Sam Walton opened a little Walton's 5 to 10 shop in the town square of Bentonville, Arkansas. The facade of the Walmart Museum, which charts Walton's rise from small-town shopkeeper to the unchallenged king of American retail, is still noticeable. Walmart has grown to the point where it now handles 50% of all grocery sales in some sections of the country, not to mention everything else they sell according to Walton's category killer model. Walton was valued at $8.6 billion at the time of his death in 1992, a fraction compared to the present family fortune of $238 billion, attributable to the globalization of the Walmart brand. Rather than hoarding all their wealth, the Walton family is investing some of it back into the community. Alice Walton put up finances to create the Crystal Bridges Museum in Bentonville to share the family's art collection with the public. The Walton Family Foundation continues to support philanthropic organizations all across the world. Do you think your family will ever make it into the top 10 richest families? If you wish for that someday, then take a page from the book of many of these one-time, small-time businesses and get to work. Thank you for sticking to the end. Don't forget to like and subscribe to this channel. Thank you so much.